And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
I wasn't sure what to expect when I first got the game Lemming Mafia. Lemming Mafia is a game in which, well, there's lemmings trying to take each other out, send each other to sleep with the fishes. Wait a minute, don't lemmings do that anyway? Well, they are going to do that in this game. They're going to die either way, and as players, you're trying to figure out which one will die first, and you have different missions, and you're secretly trying to nudge different color lemmings to their death either quicker or later. They're all pretty much doomed as the game goes by. So it's how well you do in predicting or even betting that the lemmings are going to die. I guess it's kind of a morbid theme, but it's really done in a very playful way, and this works pretty well as a party-style game. Let's look at it. So here's the board as all the lemmings are racing towards their doom. Go figure. Each player is going to be given several mission cards at the beginning of the turn, 3 of them, and you're trying to accomplish those mission cards as the game progresses, and betting cards. You'll get 1 card for each color lemming. You aren't one of the color lemmings, in fact, you're basically betting on them. On a player's turn, he rolls the dice. He will likely roll 2 different colors of lemmings. If he rolls the same, he has no choice. Otherwise, he can move, for example here, the red or the gray lemming. Now, he moves them to the next section. Let's take a look here closer at the board. As I look at these sections of the board, you can see there's 3 spaces here. So if I move the red or gray one, I can move them to one of these 3 spaces. If all these spaces were filled up and I was moving the gray one, I would have to move them to the next section. Then if the red one moves next turn, he'd move to this section, and so on and so forth. So people will be moving slowly down this path as it progresses. Now these spaces that the lemmings land on, these white spaces, are nothing. These concrete spaces, with them, you'll take a concrete block and place it on the lemming. Once he has 2 of those and he needs to take a 3rd, then he dies and goes over here to last place. He is now sleeping with the fishes. If you land on one of these spaces here, you get to roll a die, a numbered die, and move the lemming that many spaces forward. If you land on one of these guys here with the cards, betting gentlemen, then each player is going to bet on a lemming that they think is going to win the race. They put that card down in front of them. And if they already have a card, they can put another one on top of it. And if this happens 6 times, you'll eventually get all 6 of your cards down. You may or may not. If you land on top of one of these guys with the drill, then that lemming will actually have one of their concrete taken off of them. And if you land on a mafia boss, you can discard one of your mission cards, which is good because sometimes you'll look at a mission card and you'll say, well, there's really no way that I'm going to accomplish that mission card. So you're allowed to discard a mission card when you land on that. And so those are basically the spaces of the game. The game will end when either all but one of the lemmings are dead, or when one lemming manages to make it all the way to the last spot here, at which point they win and all the other lemmings are put in order of their place. Of course, by that time, you'll probably have several who are dead. At the end of the game, I see who wins. Let's say the green one was the player who won. At that point, I turn my cards over and I see how well I guessed. I say 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 points for green winning the race. So you can see you're trying to put down the winner last. Yeah, as you put these betting cards down during the game, you're trying to put down cards of lemmings that you think aren't going to make it. Of course, if you wait too long to put down the winner, you say, well, I know it's going to be green. And then the game ends before you get it down, you get no points. So you have to watch for that. Players will also then check their mission cards. So let's look at some of these mission cards. Mission cards are worth a certain amount of points if you complete them, and you lose 2 points if you do not. So here, for example, red and or blue get concreted out. That you get a point for that. Or here, if purple finishes before blue, you get 2 points. Or here, if gray finishes in the top 3, you get 3 points. Or here, if no more than one lemming gets concreted out, worth 4 points. You can see they're much harder to complete the more points they're worth. Or here, the first place lemming finishes without any concrete, and that's worth 5 points. So the mission cards are worth 1 to 5 points, and they're all worth -2 if you don't complete them. So you add up any points you got from your mission points, you add up the points if you guess the winner correctly. Whoever has the most points is the winner. First of all, I'd like to give this game some props for having a good starting condition. The worst swimmer goes first. Hoorah! And then, I like things like that. But this is basically a party game. Up to 6 players can play, and you really get into the theme, talking about how this lemming's going to sleep with the fishes, and, you do all this mobster stuff, including lemmings marching to their doom. Anyway, it's very simple, very easy. You move lemmings, you watch how everyone else moves lemmings, try and figure out maybe what their secret missions are, who they want to win, making sure you bet on the right lemming. It's very simple. There's nothing really complex here, but it has that aura of fun. And I liked it. It's something that works well for groups of people. So this is a game I'm going to keep, I'm going to bring out. I think it works maybe better with teenagers and kids than adults, but it still works well with adults, and I think it will work really well in family settings. Yes, okay, maybe the idea of lemmings dying isn't the most family-friendly theme, but it's not that terrible anyway. You can just say, hey, they got last place in the race. They're swimming. Either way, it's a lot of fun. Check it out.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.